One of the final things that I'm going to be showing you about product page creation has to do with something that kind of comes along as a side effect to creating the product pages in Fresh Store Builder. This system logs the actual manufacturers or brand names that are associated with each of the products that you are adding to your website. Well, this can be helpful for you because I've personally had a lot of success in the past. I've even built entire Amazon affiliate websites centered around the brand concept or keyword phrase, where you essentially take a niche name, put the word brands on the end of it, and that's your primary keyword phrase that you're targeting. And then you can build individual pages on your website, in-depth pages about each of the brands, and then feature some of the products from those particular brands. And you can get a lot of search engine traffic like this and convert it into Amazon sales. Well, Fresh Store Builder makes it really easy to create a website like that, or possibly to just use those brand type of features and keyword phrases as an additional aspect to your website. So I want to show you the manufacturer system in Fresh Store Builder. You can reach this by going to Products and View Manufacturers. On this page, you will see all the different brand names that the system has logged for you and how many products are listed under each of them. Well, you can actually click directly on any one of these names, and it will open up a page for you to edit information about that brand. The name, the title that is used whenever it is linked in your website, a description for that brand, and then you even have other aspects that relate to any normal page that you would create on your site, like SEO and metadata. So the point of all this is that you actually end up with brand pages on your website. Now, typically, you can click on this link here to view the manufacturer page in your store. But if you notice, when I do this, I actually end up on the main page for my store. Well, the reason why this happens is because Fresh Store Builder won't automatically just start generating all these different kinds of pages for you. It is extremely smart in that it knows you don't want a bunch of auto-generated pages on your website, that you should only be enabling them if you intend on customizing them and adding your own unique content to them. So this part is extremely important. Unless you intend to go through each of the brands that you are enabling in this system and create essentially a unique page for them where you give an in-depth review on that particular brand, you would not want to be doing anything at all on this page. So, with that said, if you are going to actually go forward and customize all of these brand pages, you can simply go to this manufacturer page to enable them. Now you have a couple of different aspects as far as places on your website where you can enable these actual brand pages and links to the brand pages. And that's what each of these 5 checkboxes up at the top represent. Now, if you ever forget what they mean, look at this drop-down box in the bottom left. And it kind of expands on that single one word that's used up above. So you can see here it's telling you display everywhere, display on sidebar, display on manufacturer's page, display on products, display on homepage, and display on filter. Well, what you can do is either check items and brands individually, or you can select entire brands all at once. And then go down below, make your selection here if you're selecting a brand on the left. Otherwise, if you're choosing the checkboxes, you just click on Apply Display Changes. If you're using the drop-down box and these, then you click on Do Action. It says it cannot be undone, but that's actually not true. I can simply select on this again, and I could go down here and tell it to hide everywhere and do action, and it would undo those changes that I had just done. So I'm not quite sure why it uses that message, but this isn't actually permanent. So now that I have this one particular brand enabled on everything, I want to show you exactly where this shows up. I'm just going to type in just a one-word description here. So now when I visit my brand page on my live website, you can see that it is listing the brand products that I have on my site down at the bottom. And then up at the top, I have the actual brand page. So this is where I would want to get more in-depth and creative to make this a unique page that Google would actually respect. So I wouldn't want to use a title like All for Home. All for Home might have a variety of different kinds of products. They might have people that are searching for those different kinds of products. And sometimes your brands or even your Amazon vendors can sell things in a wide variety of different markets. So I could expand on this a little more, and I could say All for Home cake pop molds. I could still try to get a little more descriptive with my title beyond that. However, it's kind of up to you whether you want to do that or not. At least you are customizing things by expanding on it. It's a lot better than just using the brand name itself. And then finally, for your description, this is not something that I will be writing here while I do this class for you guys, because the description that you would want to put into a page like this would be basically just like any of the other in-depth content pages that you've created on this website. So you would want to be able to put in a good 500 words worth of content. If you could get upwards of 800 to 1,000 words, that would be even better. That will give you a really good fighting chance of actually ranking for Google in these different kinds of phrases related to these brands and related to what your niche market is. Now, beyond the different aspects of the page, like the title, the description, and the SEO information back on the actual editing page. There is more information for these brands. If you look over at all these different icons, you have one that says edit, one that says merge, another one that says manufacture images. Well, I'm going to click on manufacture images. This brings me to a page that shows me the current image that is being used. And notice that the image being used is coming from one of the products. Well, I could simply leave it at that, and that image would be showing up on that brand page. However, if you're dealing with a real brand, and if they actually allow for their logo to be publicly used, you can load different logos into this system. Just be careful of using copyrighted images. If need be, you could even just create simple, small, square graphics that just have the name of the brand on it, and you could load those up as your images if you can't find anything suitable on the internet. Just go and search Google. They talk about recommending iStock Photo for good images. Pixabay.com offers royalty-free images, and you can actually download them for free without having to pay. I'm pretty sure iStock Photo is a site that actually will charge you. Now, one other thing to mention about the brands is that sometimes your brands will not technically be brands. They might be Amazon vendors, and they have to pick a name for themselves. So they might choose a name, something like All for Home here. And I've done some searching already. All for Home is what seems to be just an Amazon vendor. They don't really seem to be like a true brand name. So doing something like creating an in-depth brand page for something that is just an Amazon vendor would likely not be a good idea. It probably just wouldn't be worthwhile. There's probably very little to no search engine traffic for phrases related to that brand. So you'd really be more interested in targeting brands that are well known within certain industries to actually build these entire brand pages that are centered around them. Now, other parts that occur on your website when you actually enable these brands in the system, you end up with things like a brand sidebar link menu. So people can browse all of your brands, or they can look at your specific individual brand pages. You also have the filter that it can get added to. So that allows people to filter your products by a specific manufacturer. And then you also have the home page. However, if you notice when I go to my home page here, nothing actually shows up as far as this brand. It is showing up in the sidebar. Where's my page? I lost my manufacturer page. See, I do have it set up to display in the sidebar here. The manufacturer's page creates the actual brand page itself. And then I showed you the filter where it was getting added to there. So with the home page here, I have that selected, but it's not actually showing up on my home page. Well, if you go to Content and Widgets, where we designed our homepage widgets, there is a widget here. If you click on Add Widget, there's one here that is called Manufacturer Logos. And then you can choose where on your site, on your homepage, you actually want to add it to, and click on Add Widget. So you need to go and enable that widget. I refresh my page, and you can now see the image down here. But notice that there's no text that is associated with it. Unless I hover my mouse over this image and wait for the little hover text to pop up, I can't really tell what brand that is for. This is important to note because just a big group of images down at the bottom of your homepage or somewhere on your homepage is not really going to make a lot of sense to people. I would recommend putting some kind of one of your text descriptions directly above where you're going to be listing all these brands. And then on top of that, make sure each of your brand logos that you upload yourself are something that contains the name of the brand, so people can actually see what all of these different images are for with your header and everything listed down below. Now finally, the last aspect here of these brand pages that I enabled was the product. It says down below, display on products. So it's maybe slightly vague as far as that terminology goes. But what that's talking about is actually on the product pages itself. So for one of these two products here, for this brand page that I have enabled, if I go to the product page itself, on this page here, all the way down at the bottom of my content, but above where the reviews are, you can see there's a little link here that says view our full range of brand name products. And then this right here is a link that takes me back to that brand name page. So it helps to re-emphasize those brand pages for you. And this can be especially helpful for search engine rankings, re-emphasizing that brand name throughout your site. So if you do decide to use the brand system, just make sure you put the extra work into it. Highly customize those brand pages. Add as much unique content as you possibly can to give your individual products the best chance of ranking, and then highly customize the individual product pages within those brands as well. And connect up these different aspects so people can actually navigate through your site, and so search engines can pick up these terms for you as well. Now, one last thing I want to mention. You notice up at the top here, I made the title of this page, All for Home Cake Pop Molds, to try to target relational keyword phrases for this brand name having to do with my niche. But over in the sidebar here, I'm only using the word all for home. I would not want to set the link text for my brand names to anything but the brand name itself. Let your website speak for the fact that it's about cake pop molds. Let the actual title of the page itself speak for the fact that it's about cake pop molds and the content and all the products that you have there. But the link and even the URL for the brand pages, leave those just set as the brand itself. You don't want to be acting as though you're trying to spam your niche keyword associating with this brand name, because the chances of you ranking high in Google for just the brand name search, for example, if I was targeting Dell, the chances of me getting in the top 10 for Dell would be slim to none. But if I was targeting an ultra specific niche of one kind of product that Dell made, and maybe not even their main product like computers, if I was targeting something smaller that they did, I could stand a chance of getting a ranking for a phrase like that, Dell, and then a number of words that come after it relating to what that specific product type is. So those are the more effective ways that you can go about utilizing the brand system and trying to pick up search engine traffic from it. Now, the very last thing I want to show you before I conclude this class is something called a product queue. If you remember earlier, I was talking about editing products, where you can either go to the live site and click on aspects to edit it in place, or you can go to the more in-depth page to access all of the different parts of product content so you can edit it. Well, the product queue is the other method that I mentioned earlier. And this is a really interesting system. I like it, but it's not necessarily the most ideal thing to use right after you have created all the product pages on your site. Simply because, just like the editing on the live page limits you and doesn't allow you to edit certain aspects of the page, the product queue kind of has that same limitation. So with that said, I would still recommend after you create all your product pages to edit each of them and customize them and add as much unique content to them as you possibly can. But then at a later point in time, if you ever wanted to go back through and try to edit all of your product pages, or maybe a decent selection of them, maybe there's something you want to go through and add, maybe there's something you want to go through and change, the product queue is a great way to accomplish those types of tasks. But again, I would not use this immediately after you create all your product pages because it's going to miss some of those important things. So with that said, I'll just call a new product queue here. I'll call it new product. This is, by the way, under products and add product queue or view product queue. Well, once you add a product queue, you can then go down here and click on the little plus button to add products to it. You can see right now it says products are 0. So I click on the plus button, and this takes me to a page where I can filter my products out by category over here if I want only certain products from certain categories. If I want to filter by other options, or even maybe I only want to edit one manufacturer worth of products at a time. You can also, if you use the attribute system, which is also in products here, you can also edit the attributes for a wide range of products all in one fell swoop with this system. So just to show you briefly how this works, I'm just going to add one product to my product queue. So I'm going to select this manufacturer right here that just has one product in it, and I'm going to click on the Add Product button. So now I have one product in my product queue. Now what I need to do is to add a queue run. So I click on this link up at the top. Then I make sure I select the correct product queue if you have more than one. You can give it a name if you want to. I'll just call this test. And then the main thing you want to worry about is this section at the bottom, all these different checkboxes. Any aspects of the product that you want to edit, you simply check here. So maybe I just wanted to go through and edit the titles and the descriptions of certain products. I could just check those particular boxes. I can click on Add Queue Run. I must have done something incorrect here to end up with multiples. Oh no, I know what's causing that. I'm running multiple stores here. You won't have that happen. You'll just have the one product show up properly. Oh no, it's because I renamed it. Because I provided a different name here, I ended up with something completely different. Click on the little play button here for wherever your product queue is loaded and your products are actually loaded up into. And this will get you running in the product queue system. And each of the attributes and things for that product that you have selected, like I selected the title and description, I now have those shown to me here. I have basic information for the product on the left, along with quick links so I can go and view the product on my website. Perhaps I can update information off of Amazon. I have all these different quick links. I can even go and view the product itself on Amazon. So then I can make my adjustments to the product and I can click on Save All. Once I click on Save All, it takes me immediately to edit the next product. But as you noticed before, I only put one product in this particular queue. And so I'm finished with that queue. It removes the products as you edit them, so you know exactly what you still need to update and what you have already completed. So the system can be really handy for future updates that you want to make to your product pages created by Fresh Store Builder. So to wrap this entire class up, your objectives here should be to create all of your product pages for your site. You should be customizing each of those product pages with your own unique content, even customizing the auto-provided content by Amazon. If you're not going to customize it though, try to outweigh that content with your own unique content for the best results. Then you also want to make sure that your category pages for your products are customized. And if you would like to, you can set up things like product bundles and even your brand pages. But anything you're doing in there, make sure you are customizing those pages as well, because you don't want to use the auto-generated pages as they are.